So that's welcome. The Prime Minister has called for a meeting with us as premiers today at noon, and so I'll be participating in that to get more details about the overall trade deal that they arrived at, and to ask what's the situation with pork, because that's a big part of our economy here in Manitoba as well. I watched the Prime Minister's press conference, didn't see an overt mention of pork, but then at the same time, vague wording too. So anyway, we need to get some more details because we need to see the pork tariffs taken off as well.
Doug Ford is upset about the EV tariffs on Chinese vehicles being lifted and feels it's not worth the trade. Do you agree with him, or do you think there's room to lift the EV tariffs?
Well, we've been clear here in Manitoba, and what I would say to the Ontario auto worker is there is time for us to support your industry. And I just encourage folks in Ontario, including Ontario farmers, to remember this is a real impact today that we're facing with the Chinese tariffs on agricultural products. The impact on Ontario auto workers is something we're being warned about. We got to take seriously, but we got a bit of time, I would say. So can we address the real impact that we've already been paying on the ag sector here in Western Canada, while also putting together a plan to support the Ontario auto worker? I think we can.
Just moving back to pork for a minute, what?
Yeah.
I mean, you said no overt. I didn't see anything, hear anything on pork whatsoever.
All I meant with the overt was like in a few spots there was like on ag products, which leads you to believe maybe pork, anyway. But yeah, no, I agree. There was no mention of the word pork.
What is your understanding? I mean, pork is largely the biggest deal in Quebec, Manitoba. Canola is obviously Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
What are the issues that need to be resolved with the Chinese that you've been briefed on so far going into this meeting?
Well, I think you know all the issues, right?
I mean, with pork in particular. Why would pork be something they could not read? Why, to your knowledge, would pork be something that...
I don't know that it is separate from all the other issues. So that's why I'm looking to this noon meeting today to get more information. Could be that just they didn't mention it for whatever reason, and it is actually part of the deal. The other thing that we heard this morning is till the end of the year and a little bit of time before everything gets implemented. So maybe this is something that gets implemented, right? So those are kind of the questions I want to see the Prime Minister answer.
And en français about canola et pork.
Canola, pork. C'est pas mal, ça y est.
Est-ce que vous pouvez m'expliquer comment vous avez reçu cette nouvelle de la diminution, de l'élimination progressive des tarifs sur le canola?
Bien, M. Carney a nous demandé d'avoir une réunion aujourd'hui à midi, et puis il partagerait plus de détails. Alors pour moi, je suis encouragé de voir que les tarifs douaniers peut-être vont être baissés pour canola, mais en même temps, je me demande qu'est-ce qui arrive au porc, parce que ça, c'est un secteur très important pour nos producteurs agricoles ici, et puis l'économie sur toutes les provinces, mais Manitoba inclus.
Vous espérez une baisse progressive aussi sur le porc?
Oui, parce que toute notre communication avec le Premier ministre, avec le gouvernement fédéral était canola et porc. Nous avons besoin d'aide. Nous devrions enlever les tarifs douaniers sur tous les deux. Alors, ce matin, on a vu canola, OK, excellent, mais on n'a pas vu porc. Alors, c'est une des questions. Peut-être on va voir à cette réunion des réponses et peut-être tout va bien, mais jusqu'à maintenant, ça, c'est la situation.
A question on milk prices. You're freezing the retail price of milk. Some independent grocers have said, well, wait a minute, we're paying more on the wholesale side, so we're getting squeezed here. What do you say to retailers who say, well, wait a minute, you're squeezing us?
Yeah, we are squeezing the profit margins to save you money on the price of milk on 1 liter. This is something that's really important because cost of living and grocery prices are on everyone's mind. And so rather than try to squeeze the dairy producer or the consumer, we're saying that these grocery chains can help us out a bit during this cost of living crisis.
And some of them are not the large chains. I know how you feel about certain large chains, but this also affects independent grocers, the guy running the corner store, that sort of thing.
I think we should all be looking forward to more affordable milk prices. This is perhaps a small step in the grand scheme of things, but if we take several small steps this year, hopefully it'll add up to a real difference for your grocery bills and your cost of living.
I understand your affinity for hunters, but why be not okay with a buyback for assault rifles? What are assault rifles used for other than collecting?
We're not going to be participating with the federal government's gun buyback program. They've done some back and forth with our justice officials. We just, for a number of reasons that I think our Minister of Justice has spoken about, we're not really going to play ball with him on that.
But assault rifles? Really? Like assault rifles? These aren't rifles, these aren't hunting weapons. This isn't something to take a coyote out of your field. This is an assault rifle. What purpose does an assault rifle serve in the community, Mr. Premier?
Well, there's a philosophical argument that all of us can have, or a debate rather, about firearms and gun control and stuff like that. But we also have to look at what this is. It's a federal government program that doesn't appear to be very efficient, doesn't appear to be well run. And so for us looking at that, why would we want to take on that whole headache? I think, again, you're free to have your views about firearms and the legislation that we should have, but it's just our view that looking at this is not a good program to get involved with.
I asked it that way because you couched this in the statements, your government couched this yesterday in the statements, that, as a hunter, we understand what people are coming from. Hunters don't use assault rifles to mow down deer in a row here. I'm sure that might.
You're smirking, so I'm smirking. If
Yeah,
people
I know,
are
I
wondering,
know.
yeah.
Okay. But let's just be clear. Assault rifles have been at the center of some of the most heinous incidents in Western society in the last couple of years. So help me out here. If this program isn't good, what program should be there to help get assault rifles off the street?
Yeah, I'm open to having that conversation, but this is not it. And that's the program that we're being presented with.
Would you support removing assault-style weapons from Canadian businesses and individuals?
Well, the federal government has a lot to look at, and I think the steps that they've taken so far haven't really aligned with what we think is the right approach.
On a practical level, what does your stance mean? You're not opposing it per se like Alberta, but you're not going to help administer it. Is that?
I think that's right. Yeah.
So, and were you asked to administer it?
Yes.
Were you offered money to administer it? Was the province offered a deal like Quebec?
Yeah, I think there's been a pretty standard approach that the federal government has taken with provinces around this, and we've just taken a look at it. We just think there's a lot of headaches here that are not going to make our community safer. If we're looking at taking away, weapons from criminals, from people who are causing violence in our streets, I'm all for that. But this program doesn't look like it's going to achieve that end. Instead, it's going to create other issues around administration and cost.
Premier, you've brought together more than 500 teachers, educators here today to talk about AI. What is it that you're wanting people to take away from this gathering and the questions they should be asking themselves?
Well, I think educators have done a great job preparing our kids, not just for jobs, but what life is going to be like in the society. We can think about Orange Shirt Day, or we can think about Holocaust education, or we can think about, the core reading, arithmetic, collaborating with other students. These have all been really, really positive for people in Manitoba over the years. Now our society and economy is going to be changed in a huge way by artificial intelligence, and I think these same people who've helped us negotiate other societal changes are really well positioned to help us prepare for this technology change. And so I saw a room full of educators, school leaders here, and that fills me with a lot of encouragement that we got the right people thinking about what is going to be a very, very important topic for our economy and society.
Are you wanting people to start thinking about infrastructure in Manitoba and what hosting servers, what that might look like here? Is that a conversation you're wanting to start?
Well, I read a dystopian vision in the Free Press today, but setting that aside, we made clear in the Innovation and Prosperity Report that we should be getting in the game when we're talking about having compute here in Manitoba, but it needs to work from our perspective and needs to work with our values. Manitobans care about our water. care about our environment. And so maybe the huge mega data centers that we've been seeing in some parts of the US that are driving up electricity rates and impacting drinking water is not what we want to see in Manitoba. So we're looking at it, but we're trying to be very, very conscientious about if we pursue data center projects in Manitoba, that it works with what Manitobans want for the future, and it works for Manitobans right now.
When's your data center announcement coming? The one that we were expecting in December?
I don't know what you're talking about, Bartley.
You do know what I'm talking
No, I don't know what you're talking
Absolutely
about.
know what I'm talking about.
I think
I
I
am certain that you do.
teased State of the Province, where we were very happy to announce the Crown Indigenous Corporation at that event.
Okay,
Any
so
other
when is that data center? Is that something that the province is you are still working on in some capacity?
Well, since the release of the Innovation and Prosperity Report, we have been looking at data centers, and that means hearing a lot of proposals, including some that you've reported on, but it also means setting up the framework. Like, how do we evaluate all these things? The different considerations people have. Is this going to keep our drinking water safe? Is this going to be workable with all the other electricity needs that we have? What about data sovereignty? So we're designing that structure too. So for the current proposals that we have, future proposals that we might get, or maybe we go to the market and ask for proposals in the future, we'll have a criteria for deciding on them.
And as you mentioned, that one that I did report on down in Ile-des-Chênes, they want to build their own natural gas plant. As a policy position, is this government okay with data centers building their own natural gas plants to fire them? Now, some commercial industries are run on gas. The glass plant that is no longer on the table for the solar glass plant for Selkirk was going to burn natural gas to fire, to give them electricity. Are you okay on a policy position for data centers to build their own gas plants?
It's a hypothetical. We haven't received a
It's a
serious
policy
pitch
question.
with
Sorry to cut you off.
that.
It's not a hypothetical. I'm asking a question as a matter of policy.
A hypothetical policy.
It's not a hypothetical policy.
Yeah, it is.
What is the position of this government about data centers running on their own natural gas?
One of the real competitive advantages that we have right now is we're one of the few jurisdictions in North America that has surplus power this year and next. And it's hydroelectricity.
Le petit peu.
Un petit peu.
Yeah.
Nous avons plein d'électricité.
There's not that we have.
If you go through Manitoba Hydro's list of hookups, a lot of those things are hypothetical.
They have a list of 20 major industries wanting to hook up, and they don't even want to say, yeah, let's not debate this here.
But if we go through that list, a lot of them are like, they don't exist unless the government gives them money. You know what I mean?
Do you have that list ready for me?
I'm not going to share it with you because I know you got your own sources, and I'm going to make you do your work as a reporter and get it yourself. But if you go through the list of hydro projects that are real, investment ready, shovel ready, we have surplus power this year and next year. Almost no other province and state in North America does. So what I'm saying, to the purpose of answering your original question, is before we get into any other conversations out there, is there something smart we can do with this power in 2026 and 2027 that would benefit you as a ratepayer of Manitoba Hydro, and that would also help prepare us for this AI-powered future?
Any other questions?
Yeah, Pimicikamak Cree Nation, they've asked for a state of emergency. They're worried about hotel room availability. I know the Red Cross is leading on that. But have you responded to their call for?
Haven't responded yet. I did see it. Yeah. And just question about the overall ask, I guess?
Yeah. The overall ask. What do you think?
You know, this community has been through so much. There's tons of trying moments for people from Cross Lake and Pimicikamak. So we're going to keep working with them. We supported their request for CAF. I'm glad to see that the Armed Forces people have been there this week. And from what I understand, the hotels are going to be okay. But of course, we know from the wildfire experience, we can be told one thing and then checkout time on another day, the situation can change. So I think for now, we're going to keep working with the community, making sure that we're there to troubleshoot or problem solve any issues around evacuees needing accommodations. And if we have to address those issues, we'll be there to do so.
Hey guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
great day.
much. So if you want to save the public sector some dollars, you could just give me the list and it would make things, it would be great.
I'm so impressed by this ruse you're putting on that you're going to do this via FIPA instead of just gonna go like get it from your secret source
do you
that you've
think
been
you-
cultivating for years and years and
What
years.
secret source?
I don't know. You're the guy who's got all the secret
I don't have
sources.
any more sources.
And you've been
Steve's got
cultivating.
far more sources.
Yeah. Well, you're all wonderful reporters who all have sources you've been cultivating, and I'm not going to undermine that by just tossing information